we are on this Monday, and I understand that there will be a lot of Yankee fans as this show rolls on that will be mad at me. And they won't be mad at me because I'm a hater. They won't be mad at me because I'm so negative. They won't be mad at me because I'm the Met fan dancing on the grave. It's the actual opposite of that. They'll be mad at me because I don't think your team sucks as much as you all do. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But I do want to address something that has bothered me as a baseball fan.
Let's hear it.
And you can tell me, Evan, you're an idiot, or Evan, you're the genius. I don't know. I like Aaron Boone. I do. Now, I'm not going to get as nuts as Sean was on Friday and some others who were saying, fire the guy.
Right.
Get rid of him.
I was in Ireland, and I even saw that news pop across my feed. The hell is wrong with him?
Fire Aaron. I'm not firing Aaron Boone, nor am I blaming Aaron Boone for a lot of their struggles. But there is an image over the last 5 days that I can't get out of my head. And it's the image of laziness. It's the image of not being smart on the base paths. It's an image of, shucks, things aren't going well for us. And the plays I'm talking about, which I'm sure many Yankee fans are familiar with, late last week with Trent Grisham, that was worse than I don't give a crap play. That was a why am I playing baseball play. He also had an at-bat recently in which he literally took 3 pitches right down the middle. It looked like Trent Grisham would rather be anywhere but here. Then you have the absolute brain-dead play from Friday that, Tiki, you could argue cost them the game.
Yeah.
With DJ LeMahieu not getting in a rundown and Anthony Volpe stopping running.
The worst part about that is that, I mean, quite literally, 3 days before, or 2 or 3 days before, Aaron Judge did it correctly.
Right.
He got into a rundown so that, I forgot who was on third, maybe it was Soto, so Soto could score.
Yes.
Remember, he came in, that's when he bruised his hand.
Yeah.
You just did it correctly.
And now you do it incorrectly. And I think the problem that the Yankee fan has, and I'm going to raise my hand, this is where I will join you, is that this manager never seems to make a big deal of it. This manager never seems to say, you know what, that kind of garbage is unacceptable. Even the press conference after yesterday's loss, and we'll get into some aspects of that loss, it's like Aaron Boone is playing the replays of everything he said in 2023 and 2022. It's all right in front of us. We know who we are. We'll be fine. And I wonder, Tiki, if not holding players accountable and not showing that anger, not to just umpires, but to your team, is actually leading and contributing to these struggles we've seen over the last 3.5 weeks.
That's hard to know because that depends on the makeup of the guys in that clubhouse. But just before you get to Aaron Boone and we start crushing him for not holding his players accountable, whenever there was an effort thing, in at least in the sport I played, it was always on whoever the team captain was, whoever was the offensive leader or defensive leader or special teams leader, depending on where you were catching this laziness. It was on that guy to chew out the player. I think what's happened with the Yankees is that there's this philosophy that Aaron Boone espouses, and I give him credit because he doesn't want to be the one throwing guys under the bus in press conferences because we all know how that turns out. As soon as you say something even slightly derogatory about one of your players, all of a sudden the manager hates Gleyber Torres or he hates whoever you're talking about, and that narrative will stick. It'll never go away. So I get why Aaron Boone doesn't do that. But to me, if Gleyber's dogging it or if Anthony Volpe's not doing something right, it's on Aaron Judge to say something to them. And we saw this a week ago.
With Marcus Stroman and Gleyber?
And Gleyber Torres. And he wasn't over there chastising. He was just, hey, dude, just pay attention to this. Or actually, he didn't even say that. He basically said, give Gleyber a slack. I should have done better on the first out of that inning type of thing. And so, to me, this is more on the leadership in the clubhouse than it is on the leadership of the team that is Aaron Boone. And I know everybody, it's easy to point at Aaron Boone.
Sure.
But Aaron Boone also has the New York Yankees at 55 wins. With nobody's checked is the third most wins in the American League right now. So what exactly are we talking about? You're not going to give him credit when they're hot, but you're going to give him all this slack and want to fire him when they're not for 22 games? I mean, come on.
Here's what I will say as someone that doesn't think think the Yankees are done, doesn't think that they're a mess, doesn't think that this season is spiraling out of control. Now, maybe I'll get to that point. I'm not there yet. 22 games doesn't do it for me. I will say this. You're right. Aaron Boone does deserve credit for the Yankees' success early this season. And yes, I don't blame Aaron Boone for everything that's gone wrong with this Yankee team over this 22-game stretch. We'll go into details on what's gone wrong. The answer, in short, is everything. But what I do look at and say, hey, this is on the manager, is the messaging to the team and even the messaging to the fans.
Right, but do we know what the messaging is?
Do I know what he's doing?
Do we know what the messaging is to the team?
No, but what I do know is what he said after the game to answer what happened on that DJ Volpe play. And it wasn't enough. It wasn't hey, look, Anthony's got to realize, put your head freaking down and run through home. There is no reason for you to slow up. That's number one. Number two, DJ LeMahieu, who's been in the league forever, has to know, hey, maybe I should get into a rundown so I can ensure that run scores.
Yeah.
And instead, he gave us nothing.
I think that what we've seen with the Yankees, and it's exacerbated and blown up because they're the Yankees and one of the best teams in baseball this year, is that they are doing what every athlete in baseball does at times. And it's so annoying to watch. Right? There was a like a philosophy in the NFL that if you didn't, like, even in practice, run to the goal line, you were hurting your chances to get on the field.
Right.
But in baseball, you see this all the time. And it's this stupid cool pose. Like, I'm so cool, I don't have to run out a double play ball. I'm so cool, the inning's over. Let me just chill. Look at me. Look how cool I look. I'm just going to coast into home. Like, you can't get away with that and be a successful team. You kind of have to be a guy who just smashed a home run and even it up for the Mets against the Pirates. You kind of have to be Brandon Nimmo, right? No matter what the circumstances is, you have one speed, right? It is, I'm going all the time. I am full go every single, because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
It's the same thing that happens in football when, say, a running back breaks free down the sideline and the D tackle he could just laze. He could just be like, oh, I'm just going to loaf my way down the field. It's cool, whatever. It's a foregone conclusion. Or he could bust his ass because you know what? You never know what could happen.
Right.
The running back could get hit and fumbled, and guess who recovers the football?
Right.
It's the guy who's busting his ass.
Well,
and so I think this is more of a baseball problem that's being overexploited because it's the Yankees. Too many baseball players chill. You see it all the time. Right? They just chill. I'm just going to not run this out to first base. It's a ground ball to the shortstop. He's going to make a perfect throw. I'm out already. I'm out. I'm conceding.
Right.
Baseball players concede too much. And when you're going through this extended slump like the Yankees are, you can't afford to concede.
Well, you just nailed it. When you're not playing good baseball, and the Yankees are not playing good baseball, no one could sugarcoat that. They're bad at everything right now. Their offense has been wildly inconsistent. They'll have an occasional game like they had Saturday where they score 14 runs, or a week earlier where they score 16 runs against Toronto. But overall, this team's scoring about 3 runs per game. Their starting pitching has been dreadful. Their bullpen is not reliable. Even the usually reliable Clay Holmes blows as tough of a game as you could possibly blow on Friday night.
Didn't stop him from making the All-Star game.
That's right. When everything is going wrong, and right now everything is going wrong with the New York Yankees, you can't give your fans another reason to hate you. You can't play lackadaisical baseball. I know the Trent Grisham play from a week ago didn't cost the Yankees anything, but it's the imagery of it. It's the look of a baseball player who, by the way, is on the interstate. It's not like Trent Grisham is Ken Griffey Jr. in his prime. He's barely hit this year.
Right.
You can't play a ball the way he played that last week. You can't give away a run against a feisty Red Sox team the way they did Friday night, even if we didn't think it was going to come back and haunt them, because all Clay Holmes needed to do was put away Yoshida, and they would have won the game anyway. You can't do that. And I think when you pile that together and then you hear from the manager, and I feel like I've said this every year, it's like deja vu. But my deja vu is his deja vu, which is you are the press secretary to the fans. When you sit there in front of a microphone as your team loses 2 out of 3 to Boston and 16 of their last 22, you can't play the same hits over and over again.
Yeah.
Which is, it's all right in front of us. We're going to rip. We'll be fine. Like, it's the same crap.
But it's also true. Is it not true.
You know where it's not true?
Seriously.
Here's where it's not true, Tiki.
92 games into the season, or whatever it is, 91, whatever, almost 90 games into the season, right? It is true.
Here's why it's not true. I'm gonna push back with this. At some point on this show, probably real soon, probably in this opening hour, I will explain why I think the Yankees will be fine. And there will be a lot of Yankee fans pissed off about that. And one of the things they're going to cite back at me is what happened 2 years ago. They were 61-23, better than this team.
Yeah.
And then they collapsed, and they went 18-31, and they completely crumbled. And Yankee fans remember that. And they're going to look at this stretch and say, Evan, open up your eyes. This is 2022 all over again. Or even 2023 all over again when they were 9 games above 500 and then for an extended stretch went 26-43. Or 2021 all over again when they were 10 games above 500 and started playing crappy baseball. So their retort is going to be, no, I've seen this before.
But that's a different team. It's a different, not complete makeup, but it is a different team. That's the reality of it, right? And I know Giancarlo Stanton is the one that everybody points to because he's always hurt and unavailable, but I actually think Giancarlo Stanton took the time off because he needed to take the time off.
Well, let me tell you something about Giancarlo Stanton, okay? And this is not a rip on him. This is a fact. When you try to dissect why they're 5-15 or why they're 6-16, however you want to start this slide.
Yes.
We all look at either the finale against Kansas City, where Clay Holmes blew the game, or we look at the opener of the Red Sox series, or I should say the second game of the Red Sox series, where they lost Saturday and Sunday, and they lost the series to Boston. You know what the real line of demarcation is? When Giancarlo Stanton got hurt.
Yeah.
Because he got hurt after they beat the Braves in the second game of that 3-game series. Since that point, the Yankees have won 3 games. Keep that in mind. Since Giancarlo Stanton went down in the middle of the Atlanta series, they are, 3-13? Like, it's brutal.
Right. But it's better that it happened now in the middle of the summer than later on after the All-Star break when they're really making a run. Because he's, I know we don't want to accept it, but without him, they're a different team. Because once you get past those top 2 or 3, which we always talking about, and now even Volpe is pushed back because of his ineffectiveness. Once you get past that little top-heavy part of the Yankees line, who scares you? And it was nobody except for Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah, he's going to strike out a lot. He's going to hit 230 or whatever it is. But there are moments where you're thankful for him, and now you're missing him. Is he coming back? Yes. Is it going to be extended? I don't think so. Aaron Boone told us 2 weeks ago it's going to be 4 weeks. Not 4 weeks until he's starting to run or get ready again, but 4 weeks until he's back. And so they know they had to weather that. And if they come through it and he comes back and he's the same as he was before he was injured, they're going to be fine. That's what Aaron Boone is talking about. Now, maybe what he's saying is mostly hope as opposed to – because, look – Giancarlo Stanton could come back and just suck.
Yes,
right.
That's on the table.
So
sure.
But as the manager, all you can do is expect what you have recently seen. And that's him being an important catalyst in the bottom half of this line.
And that's a part of what drives Yankee fans nuts. A, he's publicly telling us the same things he's told us for the last 5 years. And then B, we have seen the Yankees and certain players. We mentioned a few of them, the Trent Grisham situation, obviously Gleyber Torres' lack of hustle from a few weeks ago, into the DJ Anthony Volpe play. And it seems like the manager doesn't really do much about it. And I think the Yankee fan...
But what would you have him do? Yell and scream?
Well, that's my question to you then, Cheek. Will he lose the room if he does something that he doesn't normally do?
No, I don't think he will. But I do think that he has a philosophy, and you can't change who you are. And right now, if he decides to start yelling and screaming, which those guys will look at and be like, oh, who the hell is this guy? I mean, it could do one of two things. It could make them respond and really, wake up. But there is no consequence for him yelling and screaming at them, right? So there's no consequence for him not, so there's no consequences that he will. Like, what does it actually do other than to make him look like a jerk? And he's determined not to be that. The other thing that it would do is they just ignore him. And that's the last thing you want, because that's when he's really done. And I don't think he wants to put himself in that position.
Aaron Boone, since he took over for Joe Girardi in 2018, the perception we've had was he's the nice guy. Mm-hmm. He's the player's manager. When you go back to why they decided to let Joe Girardi walk away, a part of what came out was he was too hard on Gary Sanchez.
Yep.
He was too tough on Gary Sanchez. And here we are. How many years has it been now? It's 2024. He took over in 2018. 6 years later, and it feels like the Yankees are dying for that opposite reaction.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that we got to go George Steinbrenner 2.0 and fire Boone and bring Girardi back.
No.
But the point is, that's what feels like is missing when they go through stretches like this and you see them play dumb baseball. And the manager gives you the same song and dance after every game. I don't believe they should fire Aaron Boone. I don't believe Aaron Boone's the reason they're struggling. But I am not going to bury my head in the sand and say, yeah, it's fine that he reacts like that to every situation.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I think it's just his philosophy. And there's nothing, and we should all know, because Aaron Boone's been here for a while now, or at least a handful of years. And he hasn't reacted any differently at any time. So why are we now going to expect him to do it? So if this is really as big an issue as we're all making it out to be, then somebody else has to do it. And I vote the guy who has a C on his jersey, even though it's not really there.
We'll get your calls, 888-801-1019. Do you want and do you blame Aaron Boone for the malaise the Yankees are going through? Plus, something very interesting from last night's game, a frustrating loss to Boston, and that was the idea that Aaron Boone made a big mistake. He should have given Rafael Devers the Barry Bonds treatment by not even letting him bat in the seventh inning. We'll go through that and decide did Aaron Boone make the right decision or the wrong decision. We'll get to the Mets coming up. They're on the verge of losing to the Pittsburgh Pirates and ending their road trip with a loss to Pittsburgh. We'll get to that as the show rolls on, and we'll hear from you at 888-808-1019. We are live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.